Boxer engines and Subaru have been inseparable for most of this Japanese brand's life. In recent years, though, some have begun to question whether this flat 4 format really has a place in the industry's largely electrified future. Subaru wants to assure us that it does, hence the full hybrid e-Boxer petrol unit fitted to this 5th generation Forester. This SK series model also gets a much stiffer platform, a considerably classier cabin, and even more capable off-road ability via its symmetrical 4-wheel drive system and X-mode drive settings. But you'll still need to be very much a Subaru loyalist to really like it.
Here's a car that aims to break a few stereotypes. Proper SUVs aren't usually full hybrids, as this Subaru now is, and that's because full hybrid engines don't normally have the torque to tow properly. But this car can lug along up to 1,870 kilos, and full hybrid models are usually low set for eco-efficient aerodynamics. But this Forester sits an elevated 220 millimetres from terra firma. The electrified e-Boxer petrol engine that you have to have in this 5th generation Forester, it's basically much the same 2-litre direct injection unit with 150 PS that was fitted to the previous model, but here it's enhanced with a lithium-ion battery positioned beneath the boot floor. Now this is a hybrid of the self-charging sort. In other words, there's more electrification here than you'll get in a mild hybrid car in this class, but you can't plug it in for a properly decent EV range as you would be able to do with the pricier PHEV model SUV of this kind of size. With this e-Boxer unit, all-electric driving at speeds of up to 25 miles an hour is possible, but only for around a mile, and only if you selected the most eco-conscious of the 3 available driving settings, EV driving mode. More normally, you'll be using the motor assist driving setting, which seamlessly shunts between electric and petrol power as you drive. The 3rd mode, engine driving, sees this car powered solely by its almost unique flat 4 Boxer engine. If you are tempted to engage that and push things along a little, you won't do that for very long. This really isn't that kind of SUV, despite the slightly tauter feel that you now get from this 5th generation model's much stiffer Subaru global platform. That more sophisticated chassis contributes to this SK model's pleasingly absorbent ride quality, which deals very effectively with tarmac tears, speed humps and faster highway undulations. As usual with Subarus, you have to have a Lineartronic CVT auto gearbox, and the 4-wheel drive system on offer here is the brand's capable symmetrical 4-wheel drive setup, which delivers a simple, balanced, permanent distribution of power to all wheels at the same time. Rivals use part-time 4-wheel drive systems, which only react after grip's been lost already on the road surface. Permanent 4-wheel drive stops traction being lost in the first place, particularly when the car is on steep or tilting terrain. And the setup has been made even more effective by the addition of the company's X-mode system, and that brings together all the Forester's different engineering elements to work more harmoniously together for more confident navigation across slippery surfaces or deep water as well. This car can wade up to 500 millimetres of that. X-Mode has 2 drive settings: deep snow mud for off-road surfaces where the tyres can become buried, and snow dirt for use on slippery road surfaces like snow or gravel. For tarmac use, there are 2 further so-called SI drive modes: efficiency orientated intelligent and dynamically focused sport. You'll need the former setting if you want to get anywhere close to this car's quoted fuel and CO2 stats. They seem to benefit disappointingly little from the e-Boxer tech: 34.7 mpg on the WLTP combined cycle and 154 grams per kilometre of NEDC rated CO2. Subaru wants this car to sell alongside sleek, premium badged upper mid-sized SUVs, and with that aim in mind has restarred this 5th generation SK series Forester to look a little less chunky and utilitarian. Yet it is still clearly a car which would be as at home on the lower slopes of Ben Nevis as it would be in Belgravia. Loyal owners wouldn't want anything less. Of course, what's more significant is the stuff that you can't see, and in this case, it's very significant indeed. This SK Series Forester gets the billion-dollar Subaru global platform that we first saw showcased by this company's fifth-generation Impreza family hatch. It's a chassis that's a massive improvement on the old SJ Series version's rather crude underpinnings. As a result, the body is now 40% stronger, and that's an impressive figure, although it does rather make you wonder about the solidity of the previous model. That's all hugely important, and some of the changes that Subaru has made to this Forester's interior. Time to take a look at that. This cabin's certainly a great deal smarter than anything we've previously seen in this model line, although it still doesn't quite bring to mind premium brand standards of quality. The key changes made here over the previous generation model lie here in the centre stack, where the vents have been repositioned either side of the infotainment screen, which has grown in size to 8 inches. This monitor now also features a far classier user interface, and it incorporates smartphone mirroring for Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Other manufacturers would also build the various vehicle informational functions that you'll need into such a monitor, but Subaru continues to prefer to separate these into a separate, smaller colour screen at the top of the centre stack there. Anything that both these main monitors can't tell you will probably be covered off by the further screen, which sits here between the two clear instrument dials that you view through this tactile 3-spoke multifunction steering wheel. The front seats, they aren't particularly high set, but there's not much wrong with the design ergonomics in play here, and there's now a bit more elbow room too up front, thanks to an extra 20mm of width between the seats. A clever touch is the facial recognition system, which can automatically select seat position, door mirror angle, display screen content and air conditioning settings for your preferences as you get in. Accessibility into the back is helped by doors that open wider than those fitted to many competitor models. And once inside, well, this feels like a slightly larger SUV now. And that's mainly because this Mark V model's longer wheelbase has separated front and rear passengers by a further 30mm. So there's a little more space for legs and knees, helped by scalloped front seat backs and front chairs that you can comfortably slide your feet beneath. This SK Series model's extra body width has also made it easier to fit 3 adults across the rear bench, and that's something further aided by this relatively low central transmission tunnel. Let's finish with a look at luggage capacity, accessed via a rear hatch that on this top premium variant is, as you can see, power operated. We'd hoped that this Mark V model's bigger dimensions would have done quite a lot to improve levels of boot space, which are previously a touch restricted by class standards. As it turns out, the room available here has risen by just 15 litres to a 520 litre total. That figure no doubt compromised a bit by the need to site the e-Boxer hybrid system's lithium-ion battery beneath this cargo area floor. You use seat retraction catches provided on either cargo area sidewall to push forward the 60-40 split folding seat backs. Once they've sprung forward, the load area revealed isn't totally flat, but it's probably as spacious as most owners will need it to be. 1,071 litres in size, or 1,779 if you load up to the roof. Nothing comes for nothing, and it still doesn't if you add electrification into the mix. Now, if you'd hoped, rather unrealistically, that the switch to a hybrid engine would give you a Subaru Forester's off-road capability with the running costs of a soft-roading fashionista rival, then you'll be disappointed here, because it doesn't. The bottom line is that an SUV that's properly engineered to get you through the worst driving conditions is never going to be quite as efficient to run as one that isn't, or as light and agile to drive either. It's fashionable without being trendy, and it's built to last while never feeling utilitarian. In short, it's the kind of car it really ought to be, a vehicle in which four-wheel drive is fundamental rather than simply an optional extra, and as a result, it's one of the best SUVs in this class to buy if you really plan on using it to its full potential. True, the result may not be as smoothly cultured as less capable rivals, but when conditions worsen, you won't care about that, and you'll probably be really glad that you chose one of these.